Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good evening to everybody around the world, to my subscribers, to new subscribers, everybody on YouTube. It is your boy Louis with the Louis Sports Network. I am back once again with another one, with another heavy hitter banger, with yet another live stream, yet another video. So, as always, guys, the one things that I always want you to do is make sure you smash the like button as you guys come in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as also you guys come in. Make sure that you guys are also sharing the stream. We are talking NBA basketball. How is everybody doing this evening? Hope everybody is being safe. Hope everybody has had a wonderful, pretty much Thursday. So I hope everybody is doing well, and I hope everybody's being safe out there. So again, make sure you guys smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. The topic of the day is, with the possible shutdown, what does that mean? What does that possible shutdown? So once again, make sure you guys are smashing that like. Make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe. So far, we got one person watching. Hope everybody is, like I said, having a wonderful day. Let me just look into the chat real quick. Shout out to Maze in the building. Everybody's about to show up. Still waiting for my family to get here. Hope you're doing well too. I appreciate it, man. Again, make sure you guys smash the like, and make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit. So we are talking about what a shutdown means for teams in the playoffs. So as we know, in the Eastern Conference, as you can see on both sides, in the East, we got the Bucks, we got the Raptors, we got the Celtics, we got the Pacers, we got the Heat, we got the Nets, we got the Magic, and we got the Sixers. All schools in Indiana are closed until May 1st. Wow, that's crazy. Shout out to Maze in the building, who's putting it in with the comments, and shout out to Raduni as well. He says IQ. I'm not sure we meant to buy that at first, but I'll definitely find out later if he decides to pull up. So again, man, make sure you guys continue to smash the like and that subscribe, man. Wow, all schools are closed in Indiana until May 1st. Schools over here are pretty much good until April 20th at the very least. That's at the very least. So, and May says, yes, sir. And once again, happy birthday to Maze. Hope you had I know it hasn't been easy for you, considering what's happening, but at least I hope you've had a wonderful birthday. And, at the very least, it's good that you're here. We want to celebrate your birthday, right? Talking NBA basketball, man. It's good to see you, and good to see you here. And like I said, guys, man, hopefully we get more people in the chat. Hopefully, again, man, we continue to get the like and the views up, man. So make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as you guys come in. So I just talked about the teams, all right? So what does this mean legacy-wise for the playoffs? And no doubt, Maze, no doubt, anytime. He says thanks, appreciate you, as always. So what does this mean for the Milwaukee Bucks if there's no playoffs? Well, if Giannis Antetokounmpo were to win the MVP, which is he's most likely going to win the MVP back-to-back, if he doesn't get a chance to compete for an NBA championship, then who knows what's that going to look like for the Eastern Conference next year. And shout out to, once again, Maze. He says, I'm so close to 700 subscribers. He says, oh, my God. I've said, yeah, I know. It's crazy how quickly, from the time that I got to 500, I'm close to 700. And that's through your support. I appreciate everybody who continues to share the videos, people liking the videos, and decide to subscribe because they enjoy the content. So I appreciate it. Like I said, shout out to Maze. But getting back to Giannis Antetokounmpo. If he doesn't win, if he doesn't get the chance to compete for a championship, who knows what the East is going to look like next year? Because remember, the Brooklyn Nets are without Kevin Durant and they're without Kyrie Irving. So if he doesn't get a chance to compete this season and the NBA decides to shut it down, it would have been like his back-to-back MVPs would have meant nothing. And then he would still be labeled as a guy who can't win the championship as the lead guy. And they would say that he would be known as a guy who chokes when it comes to playing big playoff games, because everybody knows what happened last year against the Toronto Raptors. It wasn't just Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard, yes, he took the challenge regarding him, but there was also Pascal Siakam. There was also Marc Gasol. There was also Serge Ibaka. They were also defending him, and they were throwing bodies. And that was crazy, with the fact that OG Anunoby was not in that series. So, that's why he had an opportunity, because Kawhi Leonard is no longer there. They still have pretty much the same team. Pascal Siakam has emerged. So Think about it. If he doesn't perform, if he doesn't lead the Bucks, because we know about Chris Middleton last year and we know about Eric Bledsoe last year, everything is pretty much going to be blamed on the superstar, and that's just pretty much the nature of the beast when it comes to basketball, especially in sports. But then Giannis is going to look. People will say that he's a fraud. Now, we were going to say it doesn't count because he didn't get a chance to defend his MVP case and also get the Bucks to the finals. But he'll be labeled as a guy who really can't get it done in big moments. And then it's like, if you take away his drive, what really good is Giannis? You know? So there's that. So the Bucks won't get a chance to go all the way to the championship, and then we don't know what things are going to look like next year. Excuse me. We got 3 people watching. Like I said, continue to smash the like button. Continue to hit the subscribe. Make sure. All right, so let's get to the Toronto Raptors, the number 2 seed. Now, I have to admit, the Raptors have had a great season. They've exceeded my expectations. I knew that even in the Eastern Conference that they would be a playoff team. I just didn't think that they would once again be at the top. But give kudos to Nick Nurse. He's done a wonderful coaching job. The system is still in place. Pascal Siakam has emerged as an all-star. You still have Fred VanVleet, who's played well. Kyle Lowry. You have Serge Ibaka, Norman Powell, Chris Boucher, Davis III. You got Patrick McCaw. Those boys have actually played, they've played very well. So I have to give them a lot of credit. What happens with them is if they don't get a chance to finish this season, we won't know if the Raptors will truly get an opportunity to defend their title. Now, I know what a lot of people are saying. They're not going to go anywhere because there's no Kawhi Leonard anymore. You may have a point about that. But what I'm saying is that we won't know how the Raptors are going to look like without Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs. Because regular season-wise, they've been very good. As a matter of fact, Toronto has been pretty much a very good regular season team. The last, 5-6 seasons. It's just they haven't really done great in the playoffs. And the one time that they did, they won a championship. Being at that as it may with everything that's happened, but they did win. So that's the bottom line. But if we look at the totality, the Raptors won't get a chance to defend their crown. And then Raptor fans are going to want to say, man, and we didn't really get a chance to show people that we're actually better than what people want to make it out to be, is if we're just a Kawhi Leonard team and that we're not really as good without Kawhi Leonard. So that's what the Raptors wanted to prove as a team. And if the NBA does get shut down, and I think that if key players get caught with this, then you're looking at a possible shutdown, like for real. So that's what it's looking like for the Toronto Raptors. Now, the Boston Celtics. This is an opportunity for Jason Tatum to prove that he really is the star of this team. Hopefully we can get some more people watching right now because we only got 2 people watching, so hopefully more people come through. So I'm just going off until we got some people to come in. But like I was saying, getting back to Boston, Kemba Walker has proved that he's fit very well. They've done very well without Kyrie Irving. The only problem that I have with this Boston Celtic team is Gordon Hayward. Jason Tatum has emerged as a star. The question is, can he duplicate this regular season performance in the postseason as the Boston's number 1 guy? Is Jaylen Brown going to step up and show that he could become that Mr. Consistency and Mr. Reliable? So looking at Boston, it's like, I just don't know if with them, in terms of the playoffs, we won't really get to see if Jason Tatum is that guy. We won't get to see, can Gordon Hayward play better and live up to his end of the deal, or are we going to see the same Gordon Hayward from last year in the playoffs? And that was due to the fact that he's coming back from an ankle injury, and he didn't look himself pretty much the entire season. Especially knowing that Boston doesn't really have a dominant big man that they could throw the ball to inside. So it's like we won't really see how far can the Celtics really go. So that's with the Boston Celtics. Now, going to the Miami Heat. This is a team that also has exceeded expectations. I did not see Miami as this high of a playoff team. Maybe they sneak in into maybe fighting for those 7th and 8th spots, but they've been battling for those top 4 spots in the Eastern Conference. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, Goran Dragic off the bench, Kelly Olynyk and them boys. And then they just got the additions of Andre Iguodala, Solomon Hill, and Jay Crowder. This team can defend. This team plays very well defensively. One of the issues is they don't play well on the road. Jimmy Butler has not really been a dominant scorer. And so my question is for the Miami Heat, if there's no playoffs for them, would they be able, would they have been able to show that they can honestly, number one, win on the road because they've only been a dominant home team, but also can Jimmy Butler step up and be the go-to player that they received, in the postseason? Because right now, even though Jimmy is their best closer, he hasn't really shown that he's the go-to guy almost all season. And I say almost because there's some games he's done it, and and pretty much for the most part, he hasn't. So the question is, even as deep as they are, is Jimmy Buckets going to be that go-to guy? And then with Miami, are they going to be able to play well on the road? And also, we won't even get to see if they'll be able to fix their offensive issues with Miami. And I think that's the opportunity that we're not going to get to see for the Miami Heat if there's no NBA season. Moving on to the 5th seeded Indiana Pacers. We're going to fail to see if Victor Oladipo is fully healthy. We fail to see what they would have looked like if they had Jeremy Lamb. We fail to see how they could have made a trade to get Derrick Rose to bolster that team. And I think it's not even going to be likely happen. And it's crazy. But ladies and gentlemen, before I continue, I got to say this. This virus pandemic is getting really, really, really serious. I need y'all to listen to me out here. I just heard somebody in the Denver Nuggets organization has COD. I also heard that for the Miami Heat, not the Miami Heat, for the Philadelphia 76ers, 3 players tested positive for it. And I just got breaking news. Also in the NFL, Sean Payton has it, but he's feeling better. And right now, I just heard, man, 2 Los Angeles Lakers, ladies and gentlemen, have the COVID-19, have tested positive for COVID-19. They don't know what 2 players yet. They haven't given out that info, but 2 Laker players, I repeat, ladies and gentlemen, 2 Laker players have been tested for COVID-19. And shout out to Doug Banks in the building. He says the Warriors would have had the opportunity to keep the streak of the playoff finals alive if this shutdown, if the season happens. LOL, that would have been crazy. Not with the record they have. And remember, they were injured, Doug. So that already took away from that. So again, guys, make sure y'all smash the like and hit that subscribe. So getting back to the Indiana Pacers, because of their injuries, we would have never gotten to see how Victor Oladipo would have looked like coming back, into the playoffs, and Malcolm Brogdon since he injured his quad. So they've had to deal with a lot of injuries. And Doug Banks says, dang. So this is why I'm telling you that human beings is the most important thing, guys. Human beings is the most important thing. They got to worry about their health. Oh, Doug Banks says, I'm talking about for next year. Oh, well, I'm talking about for this season. If this season would be shut down. But I get what you're saying, Doug. Again, man, let other people know about the channel. Make sure you guys share the stream. So with the Indiana Pacers, we won't get to see what it's like, with them fully healthy and see what kind of noise they can make in the playoffs, especially with the fact that Victor Oladipo was coming back from injury. So there goes Indiana's shot. Now, the next team, we have the Philadelphia 76ers, the most disappointing talented team in the NBA, playing in the Eastern Conference. We won't get to see if Ben Simmons is a confident playoff player. We won't get to see if Embiid can honestly show his dominance. We won't get to see if this team has the maturity and the leadership to go deep into the playoffs. We won't get to see if Brett Brown can actually coach, because he's proven that he really cannot coach with the talent that he's been given. It's one of the reasons why Jimmy Butler left the Philadelphia 76ers and went to the Miami Heat. And Dux is also saying, right, I'm saying if this season shut down, it's like a clean slate for everyone next year, including the Warriors. Well, I'm going to get to that final slate, Duck. So continuing with Philadelphia, we don't know if Ben Simmons is confident in his jumper. Can Philly even win a road game? Because they've been arguably the worst road team in the league and one of the best in the NBA. They're the worst road team. 10 wins for a playoff team? Unacceptable. Do you really trust this mental makeup of this team? Immature, lack of leadership, lack of discipline, lack of focus. So we won't get to see, have their players been healthy, if they gotten their act together. So we wouldn't have known. The Orlando Magic. This is a team that has injuries, but it's been a disappointing team because they just are not a good offensive team. So we really can't say much about the Orlando Magic. And they would be playing the Toronto Raptors if they started today. Actually, no. It's the Brooklyn Nets right now because they're currently 7. My mistake. With Brooklyn, they've been a terrible defensive team. I would have liked to seen if Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie can to continue to take their momentum going into the postseason, because the minute that Kenny Atkinson got fired, they've been playing better basketball, more inspired basketball. And I would have loved to see what this team would have looked like in the postseason, to see what they could have done to the Toronto Raptors, to see how KD and Kyrie come back to this team next year and see who could they possibly acquire. So when I look at the Brooklyn Nets, that's what I'm looking for this team, right? Then we got the Orlando Magic at the 8th spot. I just mentioned it already. They've been a kind of disappointing team. And there's really not much to say. They do have some injuries, but they're a terrible offensive team. And a lot of their players are very inconsistent. So with the Magic, we won't really get to see if these players finally get some consistency and see if they go into that next step. And it's like one of those things where I feel like their pieces just don't fit, even though they play in the East. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that's my take on the Eastern Conference. Now let's go to the meat and potatoes, the West. What does this mean for the Los Angeles Lakers, the number 1 seed Los Angeles Lakers? And hold on, before I get started, Duck, if you want to get on this chat, let's get on this. Let me just paste that on there. So Doug Banks, if you are not busy, you could go on and you could log in, man. You could pretty much log in if you want. Damn, we only got 1 person watching, man. We only got 3 likes, man. Let's continue to get the likes up, man. Continue to get the likes up. Make sure y'all smash the like button and hit that subscribe as you guys come in. We're talking playoffs. What would the playoffs mean if they were shut down for all these teams? Now, we go into the Los Angeles Lakers. Everybody knows that the Lakers have the best record in the Western Conference. Well, before I get started with that, shout out to my main man in the building as always, man. Appreciate you. My man Doug Banks is in the building, man. How is everything going with you, Duck? Considering with the COVID virus that's been spreading around, man, how's your Thursday going?
Man, it's been good. Challenging, but it's been good. You see, here's the thing. I'm actually Well, you actually caught me on my lunch break, so you caught me on time. But
All right.
I'm actually here working at Walmart right now, so
Oh wow.
it's been crazy. I mean, as soon as we put some on the shelf, people grabbing left and right. There's like nothing on the shelves right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yo, how long you got before you go back?
Till 8.
Till 8?
Yep.
Oh, you got 25 minutes. Okay, that's what's up.
Oh yeah. I got a little time
Oh, no
for
doubt,
sure.
man. That's cool. What's up? Appreciate you coming through. So quick question, man. Like I was just talking about like all these teams in the Eastern Conference, and we're gonna start there with you since you're there. Like I said, what do you think about all 8 of these teams that are currently in the playoffs? Like what would this mean for all these basketball teams if the playoffs were to be shut down and we shut down the season for good? Like I know what it means ultimately, like with all 16
Hmm.
teams that are currently in the playoffs, but like what would it specifically mean from and we you can start and you're gonna start from the Milwaukee Bucks going all the way down to the Orlando Magic at the 8th spot.
Okay. Okay. Shit, I gotta look. So what are all the teams? I know it's the Bucks,
Okay.
Raptors,
Yeah.
Sixers, the Celtics,
Yes.
Nets,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Pacers,
Pacers. Okay, and
the
there's two more.
Heat,
The Heat. Oh yeah, the Heat
and the Magic.
and the Magic. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, so let's start with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
For Giannis, it would be it'll be disappointing because he's been having a great season, putting up putting up MVP type numbers again, and is the front runner in my opinion to win his second MVP. So um, and potentially have a shot at a title. You know that some which he came up short against Kawhi the previous year. So to basically kind of redeem himself potentially against the Clippers, which is one of the teams out the West that are like potential favorites for that championship game.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get that opportunity to redeem himself. So it'd be very disappointing for um, for the Milwaukee Bucks, um, especially not just Kawhi, but guys like Chris Middleton and Bledsoe, who we've seen them come up short in big moments here and there in the
Right.
playoffs. They don't really get the opportunity to redeem themselves. They don't really get the opportunity to show and prove like, hey, I'm ready for this moment. Hey, I can turn this around. They don't get that opportunity,
Right.
and you don't get many shots at this thing. You know what I'm saying? There's franchises have that are still trying to figure out how to get to the playoffs every year. So it's a competitive league. So when you get a shot, man, you want to make the most of it. Um, this hurts. This hurts a team like Milwaukee, especially if you're trying to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo. You know what I'm saying? With the trade
Right.
rumors and stuff going around, you feel like as an organization, this is your window. This is all or nothing for this season. They've invested a lot, made certain roster changes to uh, build more around Giannis and make the team better so that um, they're basically in win now mode. So to have this window closed, man, would be devastating in my opinion for the Bucks.
Got it.
Um, the second best team, who's the
Toronto.
second? Toronto, right? Um, for the Raptors, well, it'd be obviously it's going to hurt a lot of these teams. I'm just going to state the reasons why for every last one because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to hurt everybody in the playoffs. But for the Raptors, it's going to be disappointing because Pascal Siakam has been having a heck of a season. Um, meeting, playing well above expectations. If you ask me, we knew that he was a solid player. Kind of getting towards that all-star status, but to have the kind of season he's having, where he's like dropping 30 here, 30 there, winning games in clutch moments. I don't think a lot of us saw that coming. So he was really having a really good season, and so this was an opportunity. He was worth that investment. that they made the right decision, which facetiously saying made the right decision by letting Kawhi Leonard go and investing in Pascal Siakam. If the season ends, we'll never know. Toronto will never know the answer to that. Unfortunately, at least this year. And so, also guys like Van Fleet, Serge Ibaka, even Noah Powell, who's been having a really good season, been a really good six man for them. It will just be, it will hurt them as well. You know what I'm saying? Because I know they're really hungry to prove themselves, especially if they can do it against Kawhi in the finals. If they were to play them, if the season were to survive, they don't get that chance if the season's shut down. So that's how that. So Toronto, Drake will be making a bunch of sad songs if the season ends.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Third best 76ers, right? Now the 76ers, man, they've been disappointing. Just gonna be honest. This season they've been really disappointing. Now I do like some of the changes they made at the trade deadline. Strengthening their bench, getting Glenn Robinson III and Alec Burks, taking some of the pressure off of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Having other guys that can create and get their own shot. I think that was important. That did help them become a better team and deeper. But I mean, overall, it's just the talent. I feel like talent-wise, they're there, but it's like they've been struggling to put it together consistently, night in, night out. It's like you'll have some games where they do decent, they kind of put it together and put together a nice game, but then they'll go on the stretch where they lose 3-4 in a row. Ben Simmons will never shoot a jump shot. Embiid is hurt, sitting on the bench, texting his girlfriend, and and then guys like Horford, some of the veteran guys like Horford are frustrated because it's like, yo, where's your mind at? Hey, we need to turn it up. We understand he's been there. He's been in the Eastern Finals before, so he knows what it takes to get there. And so I just it's just been a lot. And on top of that, Brett Brown, in my opinion, hasn't been doing a well enough job coaching and putting these guys in position to be successful in key moments here and there. And like with Embiid, for example, like I see him doing too much pick and pop when he should be posting up more with his size, as big as he is, and he has a unique skill set down low. The post game is somewhat of a lost art, so he's tough to defend down low in the block, and Brett Brown doesn't go to that enough. So it's just situations like that where it's like, what are you doing? And I feel like his rotations are horrible in certain moments at times as well. That's how you go on the road and lose to a Golden State team with who has 10-day contract players on their squad. It's
the
just
G League squad, man.
Exactly. It's just and at this time of the year, maybe at the beginning of the season, losing those games is okay, but like when you're getting close to the playoffs, you can't afford to have those kind of losses on your record. And you gotta have. This is the part of the year where you gotta have wins that build confidence going into the postseason. And I just don't think he's done the best job with that team. And from ownership, they need to start putting him on the clock here, because there's no reason for them to be underperforming with the guys, even without Jimmy Butler. I feel like they still have enough to where they should be a lot more competitive than what they've been up to this point. So for the season to shut down, I think for the Sixers might actually work in their favor, because I don't see them making it to the finals if the season were to go.
Okay.
I don't see them. Yeah, I don't see them doing. They may make it past the first round maybe, but it's all about matchups. I feel like they see Toronto. I think Toronto can beat them in a 7-game series. if they see, I think maybe they can beat Boston. And they said, well, I don't know. With the way Tatum's been playing, even that's a toss up in my opinion for the Sixers because
Hmm.
the way Boston's been playing as a team, they play better as a team. If they were to play, and we know what will happen with Milwaukee, I think they beat them in 5 games. Uh, if they play the Bucks, uh, you know, just because from a chemic now talent wise, I think they should do more. But again, but from what I've been seeing, they've been underperforming. That's going to carry over into the playoffs. A lot of what you develop throughout the season, it always shows up in the playoffs. Doesn't matter how good you are. It's certain tendencies, habits that you develop throughout the season, which is why the regular season is so important because it's all about repetition. It's all about getting your chemistry together. It's all about get laying down the foundational stuff
Hmm.
so that you can have that stuff in the postseason. So when the funk hits the fan, you can always go back to your foundation, the things that work. The Sixers still don't know what works for them. It's like they're still trying to figure that out at this point of the season. So
Yep.
for them, I think they need a break. I think they need to reevaluate some things. They need to reevaluate coaching, reevaluate personnel. I think for them it would actually help them, in my opinion,
Okay.
for the Sixers. Um, Going to the fourth team. Who's the fourth best team, John?
Miami.
Is it Miami?
Yeah.
Man, man, the Heat, man, they've been surprising this year. They really have. Jimmy Butler has done a fantastic job of leading that team. Um, they're a wild card because Miami is a team that, man, if they get hot at the right time, I think they can make at least the Eastern Finals. I don't know about the finals, but I think they can make it all the way to play Milwaukee or something like that. Depending on how seeding is and the matchups and everything. Miami is interesting, man, and they just acquired Iguodala and Jay Crowder, uh, veteran guys that can help your bench, that can help you defensively, and you're talking about guys that can knock down shots. Both Jay Crowder and Iguodala, can knock down a 3-pointer, so they can help space the floor out for a guy like a Jimmy Butler. Um, you know, they take the load off of a Jimmy Butler and some of those other guys on that team. So,
Hmm.
man, been really impressed with Miami and what they've done. And I gotta give credit to Spoelstra, man. He's been doing an excellent job of coaching that team, man. And he's really and that's funny because that was one of the coaches that LeBron wanted gone. He wanted Spoelstra gone, and
Hmm.
he's
In the
he's
very
probably
beginning,
one of the best coaches LeBron has had up to this point. And
I would
he
say he's the best coach he ever had because he won. He was successful with him.
mm, you would say so.
Yeah, because they went to the finals 4 times
Yeah.
and they won 2 titles. He
Okay.
wouldn't. Have,
So
he wouldn't have won if he never gone there. And I know Dwayne Wade was the player
facts.
that was there, but he wanted supposed to
Facts.
go. He wanted Pat Riley to coach. Dwayne told him
Yep.
no, give him a chance, and Pat Riley said he wasn't going to come down the seat. Yeah, you need to do things the way that it's been done. LeBron thought he was going to get his way in Miami, and when he didn't, even though his success aside, he had to go. He had to leave.
Yeah.
All
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
right,
Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. I
really
would
quick,
agree with that. Okay.
really
Yeah. Go
quick.
ahead.
Let me just check the comments. Timonko says COVID-19 is a virus that's the first threat in his life, and that the people around me that I'm surprised it's happened in my lifetime. It's pretty crazy stuff, man. Shout out to
Yeah.
the Steeds. He said he just heard 2 Laker players got the virus that's out of control, which is what I said earlier. 3 Sixer players also got it, and somebody on the Denver Nuggets medical staff also has it. One of the workers. So it's getting really alarming out here. Um, I'm gonna say this one personally for you since you work at Walmart, Doug. So the C's
Okay.
19871 says this is scary stuff. He says he needs advice on something because he works at Target and he called out of work for like 3 days because there's so many customers that come into the store and pretty much with his job. So I don't know if he continued the statement. Let me see. Oh yeah. He says in our job, banned us from wearing masks while we are working. He honestly doesn't feel safe around all those people, but management is saying we can work. What should he do?
Well, um, yeah, and what coming from my perspective, 'cause I work at Walmart, um, that what Walmart is, they've implemented a policy where, like, since we're in a national emergency, if you call out, like, if you want to quarantine or whatever, you don't feel safe, you call out, it won't count against you. You don't get any points or nothing like that. So that was a nice. And if you actually have the virus and you're during that quarantine, they'll actually pay you. During that whole process, I think you have to contact some hotline or something like that to get it. Make sure you get everything approved and everything. But that's basically what they did for us. I would just say, from a advice standpoint, do what's best for you. You know what I'm saying? Your health is more important than a job. You can always make money, but you're not gonna always have this life. So, um, that if you don't feel safe, you don't feel secure. Don't put yourself in a vulnerable position. Do what's best for you and your family. If you feel like you need to take a week, you need to take a month off. Do that. You know what I'm saying? Your health is important. You want to make sure you're taking care of yourself and be safe. Um, now, um, I would advise talk to your supervisor. You know what I'm saying, and because they Target may already have something in place for employees. So talk to them and figure out your options, and then you know make what you feel like should be the best decision for you and your family. That's pretty much what I say about that. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, your health is important. You got to take care of your body. You got to stay safe. So it you know any way you can do that, I would explore that for sure.
Oh man, indeed, man. I thought that was some pretty nice, very good, very sound advice. Um, my advice also would be to talk to your supervisor and let them know your situation, and you tell them to understand that at the end of the day, they need to understand that your health is more important first. Basically, you just do what you got to do is best for you, and make sure that whatever you do that's best for you, make sure that you're able to put your health in front of it. And I know that you'll take care of that. So. And he says, thanks. He really appreciates that because I've always said health comes before money. Yeah, that's absolutely true, man. As much as money is important, health comes first. So that's more important. So money comes after. So I appreciate you with the comment, and I appreciate you, Doug Banks, for letting him know that and being able to give your perspective. Because Walmart and Target are two pretty obviously different by name, different by brand, and different by color, but very similar in terms of the fact that it's working in retail and
Yo,
being a sales
I, I,
associate.
I used to work at Target too, back in the day. So
Okay.
I I understand what he's talking about. It's just during when the crisis happens, man, the demand for everything goes up. And they I understand it's a business. And you gotta have people in position to do that to help in time of need. But like I said, if you don't like I said, do what's best for you. Don't feel comfortable. Don't put yourself in an uncomfortable position until you feel safe enough to go back out and live your regular life. Um, what I'm saying? Like I said, talk to your supervisor and figure out what your best options are. Because I'm sure they'll help you for sure.
All right, cool. All right, Doug, you can continue. I know you got 6 minutes left, and
Yeah, yeah. Um, like I said, I think where was
Miami.
it? Where
Miami.
was it? Miami? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And can I just cut it to the top four? Because I feel like it'll be longer if I. So I'm gonna finish with Miami and then do the top four in the West.
All right,
Is that
cool.
okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay. And so yeah, like I was saying with Miami, they've been having an exciting season, and the disappointing part for them is we'll never get to see how Iguodala, guys like Iguodala and Jay Crowder, um, how they'll fit it into what they do come playoff time, which we know about Iguodala and his clutch ability. Um, I would have been interested to see how Jay Crowder would have stepped up as well for that Miami Heat team, and their roles on that team, the importance of and how they would have fit in and things of that nature. So there's so many it was so many like so much excitement around this Miami Heat team. It had a lot of fans believing like, man, who knows? Maybe, you know what I'm saying? We have a real shot. That shot is gone if the season's canceled. So we
Hmm.
have a lot of disappointed Miami fans, for sure, if they don't make it through. If we don't make it through and the season continues.
Okay.
So all right, and going to the West, and let me say this about the East real quick. The
Hmm.
rest of the teams, the fifth through the eighth seed, I think they'll all be hurt. I do want to say one quick thing about the Nets, though.
Right.
There were questions about, Kate with the layoff, about Katie possibly coming back and playing the season. I don't know. That may be up in limbo right now, especially since he's been affected with the
Oh yeah, with
coronavirus
that. That's
now.
correct. That's right. Uh-huh.
So um, that was like an intriguing question that was kind of teasing the minds of NBA fans. Like, man, with the layoff, with the extended break time, could Kevin Durant come back and be ready to play for the playoffs?
Good
That
point.
that that would have been I would have been interested to see, how that dynamic would have worked for the Nets. See how at least even if they don't make it all the way or whatever, at least to see how he looks with that Brooklyn Nets team, and we would have at least got a glimpse of the future. Um, if he would have somehow decided to play. So I will say that about the Nets. That that'd be unfortunate. Not to know the question, answer to that question. Um, Going to the West, the Lakers. Um, LeBron James. Yeah, this hurts. I mean, if the season's canceled, man, I know he's anxious because this is his. I believe this is his last real shot with him and AD. Especially
Hmm.
with AD going on record and saying that he didn't sign an extension contract. He's on a one deal. So if things don't work out this year, he could just up and leave and go somewhere else.
Hmm.
So um, if the season's canceled, then a lot of that comes into play now. You know, uh, and with the way, um, yeah, a lot of that comes into play, and there's going to be a lot of questions in the off season about AD's free agency, if he stays or if he leaves, all that. And you also got to factor in the other teams that they're gonna. I mean, the West is going to be a lot different next year. So I believe the Warriors will be back in the conversation. I believe teams like the Denver Nuggets will be better. Um, especially with the progression of Michael Porter Jr., who I think is going to be a star in a few years. As
Hmm.
long as he doesn't have any more major injuries, that is. And even a team like the San Antonio Spurs, uh, they're going to be better. They're going to always be in the mix because the way they play and in the culture, that's there. So they're always going to play hard. You might find them back in the playoffs next year. So for the Lakers, man, this was the best time for them to compete for a title. So for this season to be canceled, man, would really hurt the Lakers. And would really hurt LeBron too, especially if you're looking at it from a legacy standpoint. You know, you get a chance to improve that finals average, which is at 33%. You get if he say they were to win this year, that would go to what, close to 40, something like
Hmm.
that. Yeah, so close to 40. That looks a lot better than 33. So you all that's gone. If the season's canceled for the Lakers, and it's unfortunate for the couple players that got the virus. Man, I wish them well. I hope that they recover. And stay safe. So that I mean, it's been crazy. It's been crazy what's been going on so far. Um, Going to who's the second best team? The Clippers.
Clippers, yeah.
Yeah, Clippers. They'll be all right. Yeah, they'll be all right because going into next year, they don't. I think that there's only a couple players that are up in the air. I think it's Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell be a free agent, will he?
I believe so.
So it's him, and then I don't know who else. You know.
I think Pat Bev might be one, and I
Pat
think
Bev.
Lou Will might be one too.
Okay, so those three. So yeah, those are significant. I thought it was just Harrell, but I think they'll still be all right. Because as long you got the two main big fish, Paul George and Kawhi. So as long you can build around those guys and get quality guys that fit systematically what they do. Meaning some dogs that are gonna compete, solid on the defense, and then offensively, they as long as they can create, get their own shot, things of that nature. I think they'll still be okay. Now, I think they need to keep Lou Will, and I think they need to keep Harrell. And I don't know what their salary cap is looking like, but they gotta find a way to at least keep two of those three guys. And if they can do that, I think the Clippers will be okay. I think this short season will actually help them from a health standpoint as far as recovering from their injuries and getting healthier. Kawhi has that knee issue, been having that knee issue, and he's been struggling to play even back to backs this year because of it. So I think the Clippers are here to stay as long as Kawhi and Paul George are there, and with Jerry West, the way the kind of moves that he's been making to shore up the roster's weaknesses, he's going to find a way. One way or another, the Clippers are going to be in the mix. So I'm not as concerned about them. I will only be really concerned if something were to happen with Kawhi or Paul George from an injury standpoint. That's the only thing that would concern me. But overall, if they could stay healthy and stay together, they're gonna be in the conversation for a while. So the Clippers, I'm not as concerned about. There are some concern, but not compared to the other teams.
Right.
Third best team, the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really worried about them either, like that, because I think they're like a year or two away, anyways. They're still a very young team. Right. They're one of the youngest teams in the NBA, and so they've been improving. They've been developing. Of course, it'd be sad for them because you lose a shot of being in the playoffs and seeing how far you can go. So that aspect is just disappointing. But overall, I think they're exactly where they need to be. I think they're looking at the big picture here, that they got a team that they can keep together for at least another good 2 to 3 years, and at some point, as long as they keep improving and making pushes, they can potentially have a similar season to the 2015 Golden State Warriors, where they just kind of come out of nowhere and make a run in the playoffs. So I think the Denver Nuggets are in exactly where they want to be. They're in a really good position. So I like where the Nuggets are right now, going forward, like in the future.
Okay.
And then the fourth best. Who's the fourth best team? Is it Houston?
No, I think it's Utah.
Utah. Okay, Utah. I'm sorry. I was just thinking of Rudy Gobert.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Mr. Virus himself, gotcha.
Man, this whole season, everybody's blaming this whole season on him. So the season shuts down, boy. They're gonna take him to.
Year.
Yeah.
Player of the year. That's the whole league down. That's the whole league down. Put the league on notice.
Yep. Ain't no one winning this shit.
He said, if I can't win it, nobody can. I'm shutting this whole shit down, man.
Yep. Man, yeah, obviously it'd be a lost opportunity for the Utah Jazz, but yeah, I think it'll be more anger than anything. I think they'll be they're already frustrated at Rudy Gobert already. Man, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what they'll do.
Oh man.
Man. Let's see. Well, that's it, man. I'm a head back.
No doubt,
Those are my thoughts on the NBA season, man. I really hope everybody stays safe. I would like to see more NBA, but like I said, health is more important, and so I'm glad that we're taking the precautions to get this under control. Hope everybody stays safe. Hopefully, we don't get any more NBA players with this thing, man. It's crazy.
Right, man. And all right, man. Shout out to you, Doug, man. I know you got to get back to work, man. Appreciate you for coming through, man. And appreciate the time, man, for coming through.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy. I'll have a good time and be safe.
All right, you too, man. All right, so give me one quick second, guys. Oh my goodness. So, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't think this could get any worse. So we found out that 2 Laker players got it, right? We found out that 3 76er players got it, right? This just in. Marcus Smart of the Boston Celtics has the coronavirus. He has the COVID-19, ladies and gentlemen. I repeat, Marcus Smart of the Boston Celtics has COVID-19 as well. This is getting really scary, folks. And this is why I keep telling people that the more people getting sick, and I know they're trying to take these procedures to see what they do, but I'm feeling like if one of the major players get an issue, they might have to shut the league down. It's just not safe anymore. Marcus Smart has it now. Kevin Durant has it. Four other Nets players have it. 3 76er players have it. Somebody with the Denver Nuggets have it. Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell had it. We haven't heard Charles Barkley yet, still, to this moment. And he was feeling sick just last week. They keep saying people are overreacting, but look how quickly this thing is spreading. And it's only been, 8 days? Let me get back to the comments real quick, man. These news is like just really starting to freak me out. Raduni says, if you are not healthy, you don't have the luxury. No pleasures, no glory, no construction. Your life doesn't get really any direction. Well, I'm not going to say doesn't get any direction. It really kind of depends, but I will say that if you're not healthy, there is no luxury. You don't have the luxury right now. So I think that this is remember, the key thing is if you live a healthy lifestyle, you can be cured. It's if you have a condition, a previous health condition, that's when you're going to have a problem. Or if you're an older individual. So that's what's really killing me right now. And Raduni also says, now the Clippers took the time that they needed to improve their team chemistry and communication on the defensive end. Well, the only problem, that would all be good. But the problem is that they can't even really be in distance from one. They have to be distance apart from one another. So they won't even get that time. They like individually, they can do some like light workouts. I mean, they could probably, maybe a couple of guys could come together if like their gyms are big enough, if they have like a basketball hoop at home and they could just kind of practice. But it's like they really can't make contact. See, that's the thing. But I will say that if Paul George is hanging out possibly with Kawhi Leonard or something and they just keep distance apart, I mean, they probably could get able to get some chemistry going. Who knows? But the only way that's going to happen is if these teams are able to finish the season. This is like a forced lockout season, Only the difference is we're 63 games in. So shout out to Raduni. Tomoko, shout out to Tomoko. I still got to check out your video, Tomoko, so I will check that out soon. Just been a little bit of a busy day. Says NBA players may be heroes to sports fans, but today the doctors and physicians are the heroes. Quite honestly, they're the OG heroes. We look at sports players as role models when the real heroes are the ones that protect the streets, help save us from fires, crime, doctors and nurses who are attending sick patients, trying to help them heal. You know, people like those, like they're the real heroes, guys. They're the real role models. Therapists who try to help you, who try to help you walk again if you're dealing with a physical injury. Those are your real heroes. It's nice to meet these guys, don't get me wrong. But like I was saying, those role models are those people. Shout out to Tomoko for the comment. The C says they must keep Lou Will. He's the best bench player on that team, arguably the best in the league. They can't lose him because if you lose your sixth man, you're losing a lot of production off your bench. So he is a priority. I'm just saying with Lou Will, he's got to play better at home. And I also say that he needs to improve his balance on his shot. It's one of the reasons why he can get erratic. The C's also says, oh my goodness, this is terrible. What the F is going on here? I can't even believe this. I know. These news are so depressing. It's like, I don't want to hear another player get it. I really don't. And I'm just wondering, like, how are these guys like getting this thing? See, this stuff is out in the air. You're making some kind of contact one way or another. And the thing is, the self-quarantine is kind of like not working because these players are continually, traveling out. But then Adam Silver, why are you telling players that they're allowed to travel, but they're not allowed to leave the country? Like, they shouldn't be allowed to travel, period. Like, to just leave. If a lot of these players are getting this virus just by going out in public. That's what's not making sense, bro. It's almost like if Adam Silver's kind of purposefully like trying to shut this season down. That's what it almost kind of makes it seem like. Like you're not letting them travel out the country, but you're letting them travel out of their facilities, but they can't travel pretty much like out of the state or anything like that, and they have to be within the city. So I'm like, if you're saying all that, they should just be inside. That's what I find very funny. And that's what I find I don't even make sense. That's what's really bothering me right now. And shout out to C's 19871 again, who also says that feels bad for the wrestlers right now too, because those guys have to be sweaty and they're fighting each other. Yeah, that's true. I was just watching AEW last night, and they're trying to make money. That's why they keep going through with this. The UFC was going to try to go through with their fights, as Dana White said, but they pretty much said no. So the next 3 fights got canceled, and it was the right thing to do. But I feel bad, and it's just like getting really scary, and it's getting really alarming. It's like, it's forcing us to have a compulsive disorder. It's like we have to do certain things so many times a day now. And it's like, instead of us taking precautions, they're trying to make Americans feel even more worried. And a part of me feels like the media is purposefully doing this. That's why I don't listen to these guys. The media is the evil empire. When they push agendas, they know that they could create controversy. Controversy be creating cash, creates views, creates ratings, boosts ratings. And that's what makes the media so evil, because it's like they don't really give a crap about anybody. They will step on toes to make sure that they're on top. and to make sure that they are the headline or make somebody the headline, whoever they want. But they have to make sure that they have that headline that they could just pretty much use as a pedestal to boost their story, to push their narratives, and to make sure that people are forcefully listening. So when they feed you the BS, that's what they're doing. Oh, yeah, I know Chuck Norris can slam a revolving door. Oh, yeah. Chuck Norris is that good. Chuck Norris is that good. Okay, guys, so now we're going to get to the Los Angeles Lakers, starting with the Western Actually, no. You know what? No. Better yet, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go from the bottom to the top, starting with the 8th-seeded Memphis Grizzlies. We won't get to see John Morant. We won't get to see the rookie, to see what his playoff debut would be like, how much buzz he can create, for the young Grizzlies, and what it looks like for them in the future. And John Morant is a star that you can build off of in the postseason. It's a shame because that's what would have helped even more viewership and also more notoriety from the Grizzlies had he would have been made the playoffs. It would have been good for the franchise because it would have given them an opportunity to perform for not just those young players, but in particular John Morant, to see what he's made of on the big stage in the postseason. To see if this guy is definitely going to be the future in years to come, which definitely I believe that, but that's what it's depriving. I look at a guy like Zion Williamson. If the Pelicans were to make it, what does that look like with them? Considering that he missed most of the season, he comes back, makes an immediate impact. Next thing you know, the Pelicans are playing better. They're 3 games behind that for the 8th and final playoff spot. And if they make it, how much would the media have covered with LeBron going up against Zion Williamson? They would have made a heck of a story. It would have been a heck of a first-round matchup. Think of it. Brandon Ingram going up against his former team. Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart going up against their former team. It would have been interesting. It's like LeBron going up against Zion and the ex-Lakers. Creates a nice storyline for that first round. So that gets taken away. Even De'Aaron Fox for the Sacramento Kings. Like, what kind of story would it be if the Kings finally make the playoffs for the first time in 15 seasons? But then it's like those guys would be okay because the key thing with the Kings, the Grizzlies, and the Pelicans, for the most part, they're young teams. So they have time. They have another year to get better. That's the benefit of those 3. What's unfortunate for having the playoffs is we won't get to see these young stars properly marketed, especially going up against the historic Laker franchise. It would have been real nice. And best believe that LeBron fans will be making such a big deal of the players they beat, starting with the people in the first round. And like I said, the story that it would make had LeBron faced either John Morant or Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson is going to make the sexier story because ESPN is trying to prop him as the next one. They put him as a top 42 pick over Klay Thompson. And you know what's so funny? He got injured in preseason. The key thing was he got to come back and play. All right. Who is currently 7th in the West? Is it the Dallas Mavericks? I believe it's the Dallas Mavericks. We won't get to see Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis make their playoff debuts either. We're talking about a walking triple-double in Luka Doncic with how crafty he is. His ability to get his numbers without being athletic or being fast. Improved his game. Nobody saw Dallas as a playoff team, and they made the playoffs. What sucks for Dallas is we don't get to see what Luka and KP are like playing in the postseason and they would be playing the Clippers had the playoffs started. You know, so that really stinks on that part. That's terrible. And let me just go to the comments real quick. The C says, I already knew Vince was a greedy SOB. It's all about the money for Vince. But Tony Khan making his guys go out there and wrestle is not a good look. Oh, you're talking about for AEW? Yeah, Vince, you already knew because they already said that the WrestleMania 36 is going to be at the Performance Center in Orlando. So Vince is all about the money. So you knew that was going to happen. But I agree. I didn't even think AEW was going to happen last night, and it did. But again, it's like, they're treating it as a business, so they don't want to lose out on money with this virus spreading around. Everything is being put to a stop. It's almost to say as if the economy was put on shutdown. Like if we were in an economic recession, you know? Maybe not stock market crash like, but, you know, somewhere along those lines. Because you got a stoppage. So good point. She's 1971. So with Dallas, I mean, Tim Hardaway would have made his postseason debut. Would have seen what that was like for him. But again, Dallas is good also because they get another year to develop chemistry. If this were to shut down with him and Porzingis came back to what he was in New York before the injury. So that's key for them. At the number 7 spot. Now, the Houston Rockets. This would save Mike D'Antoni and Daryl Morey another year together. And I say that because the way the Rockets are constructed and the way that they play, I don't see them going far in the playoffs. Russell Westbrook has played great. He's played unbelievable. They've begun to win playing his style. I told you that at some point, James Harden is going to go to management or to Mike D'Antoni and feels like that the offense should be around him. And you'll see the Rockets they're gonna start to struggle. And it's like it would be good for the Rockets because partly you would kind of save the embarrassment of losing early when Daryl Morey's convincing people that they're going to be the greatest offense in NBA history and that they can win an NBA title playing small ball, which I don't think is going to happen. And the unfortunate thing is, I would have loved to seen how Russ and Harden play together in the postseason. And how far can they really take this Rockets team? Can they really play with that style and actually win? Can they? Can PJ Tucker work at 6'5", playing the center position? Will they be able to make all these threes that Daryl Morey has been predicting from the season, start of the season? Can they beat teams like the Clippers? Can they beat teams like the Lakers? That would have been interesting to find out, but we'll never know. Next team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You're talking about another player, a little bit under the radar because he plays with Chris Paul and he's not making as much noise as a John Morant or a Zion Williamson. He played for the Clippers last year and he did a tremendous job at the point guard spot. The funny thing is the Clippers could use him right now. The Clippers could use him because he can play make. It's just he's playing next to Chris Paul, so he's playing the 2 position. But he can play make, and he's a very nice talent. So it stinks not seeing him in the playoffs. And I would have loved to see the Thunder to see how far they can go because no one saw this team as a playoff team. with Gallinari, with Diallo, with Nerlens Noel, with Steven Adams, Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Dennis Schroeder. Nobody saw this team as a playoff team. They thought this was a lottery team after they traded Russell Westbrook and Paul George. So this would have been another nice story to definitely see how much of a impact Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would have been, another young player who would have been his first pro season appearance. It's unfortunate. But then again, it's also good for them because they also get another year under their belt to be even better. There's less pressure because they weren't expected to do great. Now, to the top four. The Utah Jazz, or should I say, Mr. Vibers Gobert, Rudy. That man needs to get the Defensive Player of the Year because he shut the whole league down. Shut it down. He shut it down. I've never seen somebody have the ability to defend all 30 teams in the league. That's crazy. 29 teams, including their own. All 30 teams. He's so good defensively, he'll guard his own teammates. Man. Okay, I'm just playing. No, but in all seriousness, for Utah, Donovan Mitchell, to see how much of a better player he would have been had he improved the shot selection. I would have loved to see how Mike Conley would have been able to incorporate himself with Donovan Mitchell. He was supposed to be Donovan Mitchell's relief, but he's been healthy and he hasn't played well pretty much all season. So it's been an injury-plagued season. And then Jordan Clarkson and the impact he could have given the Jazz and how well defensively they could have played to see how far they would have gotten. You know, can Donovan Mitchell really be this guy for the Utah Jazz? I would have loved to see it, but we're not going to get to. All right, ladies and gentlemen, number 3. Before I get to number 3, I mean, his Defensive Player of the Year is worth 2 awards. Like I said, he ain't only shut his team, but he shut the whole league down. That's worth 2. Just give him 2 trophies and call it a season. The C says, and WrestleMania is a 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday. Damn, look at Vince. During the Hall of Fame weekend, you dead ass gonna have these dudes wrestle on Saturday night and Sunday. What's he trying to do? Is he gonna split it into 2-hour specials? Like what? Oh man. Vince need to retire, man. He just needs to give the reins to Triple H, man. I'm so sick and tired of this dude. He thinks he's really gonna die with that W in WWE to his grave. Like, he need to chill. That joint ain't going nowhere. It's almost as if to see he wants to die with his riches. Like, dude, money can't come with you, man. Unbelievable. And he also says, I wanted to see if the Rockets will make it far in the playoffs, but unfortunately, we won't know this year. Yeah. I don't think they're going far, but we missed out on the opportunity to see how far they could have gone. And the C also says, damn, yo, Defensive Player of the Year, you cold for that. I mean, it's true, man. I told you, shut the whole league down. Shut it down. Said, I'm going to shut this shit down. So, going back. And shout out to Tomoko with the comment. Put your hand on a hot oven for a minute and it feels like an hour. Sit beside a beautiful woman for an hour and it feels like a minute. That's relativity. Put your hand on a hot oven for a minute and it feels like an hour. Sit beside a woman for an hour and it feels like a hot minute. Yep. It's kind of like that, but first, relativity. All right. So, going to the Denver Nuggets. This benefits them because we won't get to see them fail again, for the reason being that they don't really have an identity and they don't have an alpha. So that they were able to do that before. That's right. They were able to, as a unit, go to the postseason, and they were one win away from the Western Conference Finals. The problem is Denver doesn't really have a go-to player. Hopefully, it's Michael Porter Jr. He'll have a whole year, and he'll be healthy going into next season. Jokic does not dominate a game like he should. He's capable of doing it, but it's just like he just tends to be lackadaisical with the way he plays and doesn't put his imprint on the game. And they need an alpha in order to show that they have somebody dominant that you understand that's reliable. And on top of that, they don't know what team they are. They can be a good defensive team, then be a decent defensive team, and then be a good offensive team or a bad offensive team. So the good thing is for them, if the playoffs were to shut down, they have a chance to evaluate what team do they want to be and see if they can finally get themselves an alpha. They also need to figure out their head coaching situation because I don't think Mike Malone is the coach for these guys. What's unfortunate for Denver is because of what they did last year and they were close to the Western Conference Finals, how far can they get this year? So we'll never know. Because they start with the Houston Rockets. And whoever wins that series has a matchup with the Clippers. Continue to smash the like button and continue to hit the subscribe button. Right. So, the Los Angeles Clippers. This is good and bad. I want the good news or the bad news? All right. Since you asked so nicely, I'm going to give you the bad news. The bad news is we won't get to see the opportunity if Paul George performs at a high level, or would he be George Paul? We won't get to see if Kawhi Leonard has an opportunity to make history. And he be the first player to do this before the person that I'm about to talk to at the number one spot right now. To get a finals MVP with a third different team. He did it in both conferences, the first guy to do it in both conferences, and the first guy to do it on 3 different teams. And think what Clipperland would do to Kawhi Leonard if he wins a title before instead of the Lakers. Like, man, that would turn California upside down. Like, think what would happen. Think of the magnitude. Think of the ramifications if that was to be the case. And Raduni, you do make a good point that not all teams can have an alpha, but I just mean with Denver, it would help them if they were able to play within the system but still have their best player. Not being afraid to step up in big moments. So, and that's what I mean for the Nuggets. But getting back to the Clippers, it's can Kawhi make history? Can Paul George erase his past playoff demons, even though he has stepped up in moments in the playoffs, but he's had more disappearing acts than he's had big moments? Can Montrezl Harrell be able to defend the pick and roll? Can the Clippers make the free throws in the postseason? Can Lou Will play well at home? So those are the can they beat the teams and live up to the hype that they got in the season? That's what's unfortunate that we won't get to see. The good part about this gives time for Noah, their new acquisition, to get back in shape and give them toughness. Marcus Morris get acclimated with the Clippers as the acquisition that he is. and gives them time to recuperate from their injuries, and then the opportunity to build their chemistry as they head to the playoffs. That's the benefit. Also, if the season were to shut down, the Clippers would have an opportunity in the offseason to build their chemistry, which would not be good, bode well for the number one team in the West next year. Okay. So that's probably the good. And also, they could communicate better on defense. So that's what I see what's the good for that. And before I continue, the C's 19871 says, did you see when Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper, made his debut on AEW, and when he told Christopher Daniels he's not the only out of touch old man who didn't see anything in him? That was a shot at Vince. You know what? I think Luke Harper is going to do very well there. And the thing is, with Cody Rhodes and Tony Khan, they will allow him to be himself. Because Luke Harper is talented. I said it when he was in the Wyatt family. I just said that Vince did not know how to use. Vince gets this credit, but we need to discredit him when he does a poor job of not recognizing talent. And Vince does not like talent that he ends up releasing to be bigger than what they were when he had them in his company. He does not like to be outshined by former employees. Shout out to the C's, man, who says you and RB are the best on YouTube, man. Much respect. I appreciate that. Hey, yo, C, can you do me a favor? Next time RB does one of his videos and stuff like that, man, make sure to give me a shout out. And shout out to the C's, man. He's been truly supporting. And I'll make sure that I'll give RB a shout out as well, because now, if you haven't subscribed yet, you need to make sure to go subscribe to RB The Breakthrough. He has amazing content. I'm originally from the RB family tree because I've been a full supporter of RB for nearly 4 years. And I started my YouTube journey because one of his subscribers told me that I used to be displaying a lot of facts and telling a lot of facts in the streams, that I should really start my own channel. And here I am. And RB was one of the people that encouraged me to do it. So again, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you go check out his content. And like I said, make sure you subscribe to RB The Breakthrough. Appreciate it, man. So like I said, once again, shout out to C's 19871. Verduni says, if you don't have an alpha player, you need a coach as an alpha to win, like San Antonio Spurs with Pop. Big facts. Big facts. Big, big, big facts. If you can't have a player, you need to have an alpha coach. That's facts. Facts. I couldn't agree more with that statement. It's why Brett Popovich's Spurs teams have been so good for so long. It's because he's an alpha. Vince needs a new brain GM. Vince just needs to retire. He wants to put his hands on everything. The guy's damn near 80, trying to still worry about making money. You're a damn billionaire, man. And C says, I got you, bro. Most definitely. I will shout you out, man, on his Lex Live. I appreciate it. And like I said, guys, if you haven't, man, make sure y'all like it. Make sure y'all subscribe. So now, getting to the last team, we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. You know, the team that's got LeBron, that's got AD, that has Frank Vogel as their head coach. Here's the thing with the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to start with the good and then go to the bad, because there's more bad than good on this. The good thing about them shutting down the season is we won't get to see LeBron and AD possibly fail. I'm not wishing for them to fail, but my thing is that we won't have to hear an excuse from the LeBron fanboys and fangirls or from the media Because notice how LeBron has not really been talked about ever since that this virus has begun to spread. It's been very quiet in the sports world because you know why? There's no LeBron agenda pushing. There's no Anthony Davis bad mouthing, disrespecting. It's not happening right now. That's the benefit. That's I would say is the benefit right now that these sports shows can't push their agenda right now. They can't push it. So they have to regurgitate and vomit the same topics, but they can't even do that neither because they have absolutely nothing to talk about. Fortunately for First Take, Tom Brady went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so they had something to talk about. Or when Bruce Arians said no to Antonio Brown, now they got something to talk about. But when it comes to basketball, there's absolutely nothing to talk about. They can't even talk about the MVP. They can't even talk about playoff positioning with the basketball teams. They can't talk about the race for eighth. And they most certainly can't talk about LeBron being better than Michael Jordan and being the greatest player to ever play this game. See, they got no narratives to push. They can't push nothing no matter how much they want to because the virus right now has got everything suspended. Part of the reason why the owners are pushing for this thing to only be at the very least 30 days is because of the money. It's affecting the profits. So even NBA owners treat the league like a slave plantation in their own right, just like the NFL. The NFL is about the owners. The NBA is about the players. And the owners are trying to make it about them first. So that's why the NBA is having a more power struggle than the NFL is. You see what I'm saying? Now, so that's the good thing, that the media has not been able to talk about him. And it's like, no disrespect to LeBron. I just don't like the fact that they talk about him every single day. It's like no matter what. Well, unfortunately, he's the cash cow of the NBA. Right? Because there's other teams in the league. Also, we won't have to get to see AD, possibly, if he doesn't get a chance to not mess up in the playoffs. And like I said, people disrespecting AD because, you know, he probably didn't get it done and LeBron gets this excuse. And Raduni, before I continue with the Lakers, he says with the Lakers, all you need to do is push them in transition that they're done. Not just the fact that you push them in transition, but you also need to make sure that you put a good 3-point shooting team against them so that they struggle to shoot. I mean, that the team that shoots the three ball very well and that hits threes against the Lakers, it would really hurt them on their perimeter defense. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so shout out to the main man once again. Kid Glory, man. How's everything going with you, bro?
Going good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Doing good, man. What I miss? Yeah, I'm sorry I'm late. Playing some 2K20 with my little sister.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. I haven't touched a 2K game since probably 2K15 or 16, so it's been a while for me. Yo, I like retire from 2K games because I feel like it's been nothing but the same thing, man. With these 2K games, I feel like there's really nothing innovative, which is why I wish live would be more competitive, man, because it would push the 2K games to be better. I mean, they killed live a long time ago, so it's like that's why they're able to kind of pretty much give you the same damn thing, pretty much year in and year out.
Live fell off after 09. That was like really like their best NBA Live game, and then like they start like doing all this extra stuff in Live, and then it ain't been the same since.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that the NBA players play like robots in like live in the lives. Like at least with 2K, you got some like real. Yeah, like even when they shoot or even when they dunk, it's like it's too robotic. At least it feels more real when you play a 2K game.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, man. So,
You
a shout
stop
out to
saying
Kid
what I
York.
see. Okay,
Welcome.
I'll be working the heck out of you.
And so, guys,
Got
make
you.
sure once again, man, that you continue to smash the like and you continue to hit that subscribe button, man. Continue to do that. So, Kid, we are talking about like due to the COVID-19 virus, we were talking about like what would it mean for all these NBA teams, if there was no playoffs. Right now, I'm just currently talking about the Lakers. Doug Banks was here earlier, so we were talking about what would it mean for each team if there were no playoffs in the Eastern and Western Conference. And I just got to my last team because I mentioned all the other teams that are currently in the playoffs. But you could start anywhere you want because I'm gonna give you the floor. And what does it mean for these playoff teams if if the NBA season were to be shut down? What does it mean for these teams?
That's a good question. But I feel like like they cancel the playoffs, then they will have to next year pick up where they left off from this season. You can't have a 2021 season or whatever, and we don't even know who wins the 2020 championship. Like I personally feel like that's what they should do. They should pick up where they left off at, and but that's going to throw that season off or whatever. But that yeah that because for the playoff teams and stuff like that, it gives each of them a chance to, compete for the title, whatever. And then for the non-playoff teams and stuff, they don't have most of them go into rebuilding process, and a lot of players you see, that's like time to spend with their family and friends and stuff like that. So it's just because I mean I can see it happening. I'm glad you're talking about it though, but I just like we still need a champion at the end of the day. We still need to find out who wins the championship this year. So that's how I look at it, though. And even for the teams that aren't in the playoffs that was fighting for the eighth seed, because the Grizzlies had what? They had a Pelicans on them and what? About two other teams or whatever,
Yeah.
fighting for that eighth spot. So, it takes away from them even more though, because they never got a chance to say, oh, okay, we could have probably jumped them in the standings or whatever. So like it's just gonna be a lot of commotion and confusion going on. Something like that was to happen though.
I
But
feel
that's
you.
how I look at it.
I feel you. So let me just get back on the Lakers real quick. Like I said, the good thing that's happened with the COV and the blessing in disguise is the lack of talking about LeBron. And what I mean by that is that there's no
Right.
with that. It's like the media has not been able to talk about him every single day because he drives their content. So
Yeah.
when no LeBron talking, the media pretty much had nothing to talk about. And it's already had them so upset that they got nothing to push their stories. They don't have any narratives and storylines to talk about. And so, that stinks for them. Okay. Here's the bad part. I can hear myself in the background, kid. So can you lower that down a bit?
Yeah, I got you. My bad.
No, that's cool. Thanks, man. All right, cool. Thank you. So the bad news would be for the Lakers, this would be LeBron's last opportunity to win an NBA championship if this season gets shut down completely. Then,
Yeah.
now with him not getting a chance to win a title, it hurts him going into next year because the Golden State Warriors will be fully healthy next season. They're a Western Conference team. Then you have the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant, even though he was tested. That was the most interesting thing with Brooklyn when it came to these playoff chances. if the season were to resume, Kevin Durant could have possibly had been healthy and he probably could have played. See how far they can go with him, and then him and Kyrie come back fully healthy for next year. Only thing is he has the virus, so that kind of nullifies that. But if he didn't have it, just imagine what that could have meant for Brooklyn. I mean, he would have gave them a big boost because they have their best player, their go-to player, and arguably the best player in the NBA when healthy, and he's arguably the most elite scorer that we have in the NBA. So
that's true.
And so now with LeBron, the bad part is that all these teams start to get healthy. So now you got two extra teams that possibly in the mix in the playoffs. You got the Warriors, another team that you got to deal with in the playoffs. That becomes another powerhouse again when you bring back Curry and Clay. You got Draymond and you have Andrew Wiggins. You know, with the trade, we don't know what these other teams in the West are going to do. So it's like the West will be stacked again. And this time you'll have a Brooklyn Nets team that puts. And then think of the Indiana Pacers too. I mean, I know that they're not at the top of the East, but you have Jeremy Lamb coming back, Malcolm Brogdon, and then you got a fully healthy Victor Oladipo. So for the Eastern Conference, you put yourself 7 good teams instead of just 6. So with LeBron, it's also. What I also would have said the good thing about it also is that they don't get to run with the Kobe narrative as to why LeBron wins or doesn't win a championship. So
because
that would be
it would be a year. It would be a year since his passing.
Yeah, exactly. So it would have been 1 year since they passed away, and then you wouldn't be able to use that excuse because the media would have loved to use that as an excuse had LeBron not won. And if he had won, they would have said, "Look how much he did for Kobe Bryant." That's how much Kobe meant to LeBron James when he was alive. And I'm going to say this. I thought that they had a good relationship, but people are really buying like if they were like crazy close. I think they had a good relationship, but it wasn't as crazy close as people like keep making it to be because they didn't hang out. The only real time that they were together was when they were on the USA team, both times.
That's true.
Those guys didn't hang out. Kobe wasn't really that kind of person.
Because Kobe had a closer relationship with Kyrie than he did with LeBron.
The thing is also those guys are about basketball, and the thing is, Kyrie is kind of a mini version of Kobe. They kind of think similar, but Kyrie just does some emotional things that I never even seen Kobe doing in his career.
Yeah,
and that's where the difference lies. Like sometimes when I listen to Kyrie, it's almost like if he's like done playing basketball, and this dude's not even 30 years old yet. Especially when things go wrong, and that's why I said that Kyrie, as great as he is, and he's one of the most amazing, talented players that I've ever seen, he lacks in leadership. And I just feel like emotionally, there are many times, it's not just like just mentally, but I just feel like from an emotional level, he dispatches himself or disconnects himself from the game. And I'm like, if you're that upset about what's going on, then it's like you need to get your emotions in check. You got to figure out where you want to be at, like in your life, in terms of your career. And it's like, if that's the case, you might as well not be playing basketball because this is the profession you chose. Go ahead.
He said that, man. He said that, I think I saw, a year ago or so, but he was talking about some retiring before he hit his 30s or whatever. So he didn't want to, he don't plan on having a long career in the NBA. And he did, and he got what a lot of legends don't have, a championship at the end of the day. And then, and he's going to be able to compete next year with the Nets and KD when they both come back healthy, though. So, he's going to be in position like the next couple of years if they can keep that team together in Brooklyn to compete for a championship. But he don't plan on playing young and stuff like that. And, in like the last few years, and he's just been doing like a lot of stuff, especially off the court, that makes you like question, okay, like this is not the same person we came up seeing, so.
No, yeah, you're making great points, and I agree with that. And like I said, man, like if LeBron doesn't get the opportunity to play for a championship, I just think it's going to be that much more difficult next year. The only good thing is that AD will get to stay because AD is going to say, well, we didn't get the opportunity to see what we could have done in the postseason, so we'll give it another shot. And the only question that you would have to ask is, with all these teams getting better, and Raduni said it, don't forget about Miami and Dallas. Like, do you really think that LeBron is going to want to go through that grind in the West, dealing with all those teams? That not only improve, but it's like you got to deal with the, regular powerhouses. You got to deal with Denver. Uh, if they can get themselves an identity, obviously the Clippers will be much more healthier, and they're going to have better chemistry next year.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got the Houston Rockets with their small ball that would give the Lakers problems. Excuse me, if they play to their style. You got the Mavericks; they're going to be a better team next year and a little bit more experience.
Don't get ugly in the West, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, you got obviously the Jazz and the Thunder as well. See what
because even this season, the Lakers were favored, especially after Kobe passed away, to win the championship. But we've seen them against the other contenders, like, okay, y'all beat the Bucks, but the Bucks beat y'all, and then the Clippers is up 2-1 against them. So like, it's not like the Lakers just like dominated the other contenders to make everybody say like, this is why they're going to win a championship. So like, even though they're supposed to be the favorites and stuff, they haven't really separated themselves from other contending teams though. And this is without Curry and the Warriors, Durant and without the Nets and those teams and stuff like that. So and it's going to be, like you said, you made a great point. It's going to be a lot harder next year for the Lakers, to be that team that emerges from the West.
Right. And so basically what I'm saying with that, all of that is that if the season doesn't continue this year, and let's say that LeBron doesn't win a championship next year, considering how much more difficult the West is going to be, and even the Eastern Conference, because there's going to be more teams. Like when you look at Brooklyn, I mean, what if he was to meet, Kevin in the finals, or he doesn't even get a chance to face Kevin to pay him back for the 2 championships that he ended up losing to him in 2017 and 2018 in the finals. And what happens is, number one, LeBron is done winning championships. That's number one. And then number two, AD possibly doesn't stay a Laker, sees what's going on and says, I might win a championship elsewhere. I don't think I can win it in a Laker uniform. So that's why I said that it's crucial that a lot of these things will go against LeBron if they don't continue this season. And I know that LeBron is going to be upset. He's going to be very upset because this would have been the one opportunity for him to take advantage of the fact that the Clippers are still not very good defensively in terms of consistency and weak chemistry. The Warriors are not in the postseason, so he doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't have to worry about Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant is out east. So a lot of things he doesn't have to really worry about.
That's right. That's true. That's right. That's true. But even if the Lakers do go to at least the Western Conference Finals, they're going to be beat up because if the Grizzlies would have been that 8th team, they would have beat them in 5, but they would have, they would have been bruised up. And then they probably would have had to play Denver or like a Utah in the second round. And then, that would have been, they would have got them up out of there too, though, but they would have been, okay, like filling their effects. And then going to the Clippers, even though I picked them to win, like they could have beat the Clippers or whatever, but they're like going to be like, bruised up going into the finals. And, they're going to have to see like whoever comes from the East, which is probably going to be Milwaukee though. And that's not going to be easy. So, at the end of the day, LeBron's he was going to have to earn this championship, and like prove to everybody he can actually win in the West, but it would have definitely taken its toll on him in the Lakers, and then that would have gave, like whoever comes from the East, like that's much more confidence. It's like, okay, like we can beat them, so. But like going in the next season though, especially if they don't continue this season, it's going to get even harder for LeBron, because like y'all couldn't win this year. They don't be shooting the season. Then on top of that, going into the next season, everybody's going to be fully healthy again, So, and that's going to make the league even more competitive. But, both the East and Western conferences, It's just going to be a battlefield everywhere you look at, like, which is good though, but like it takes the Lakers' chances and drops them down dramatically.
Yeah, and I think that with next year, what happens is that this would be out of all LeBron's championships. If he would have won this one, this would have been his most difficult because he would have had difficulty in every single round that he played in. It would not be just like the Eastern Conference, like where
Right.
he's had all of these easy cakewalks to the finals and a lot of the excuses by the LeBron James fanboys fan club, making day in and day out about, look how difficult he had it to go through. He got the 2 7-game series. Like when I look back at his 2018 run to the finals, I'm not impressed because you beat an Indiana
and
Pacers
Boston
team.
really beat themselves in that Game 7, but that's like a different story for another day.
And the worst part is
I was
about it
listening
is
to you.
yeah, no doubt. And it's like, the worst part is that Boston was without their 2 best players. They were without their 2 best players, and they won 7 games. Like Cleveland should have beat Boston. They should have beat them. Should have
Never
beat
been in that position. They should have never been in that position.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. And it's like, can I also dispel another myth right now? This whole issue with LeBron winning, 4 MVPs that he should have been robbed, that he got robbed of 4 MVPs. I'm sorry.
They saying that? Yo, that is crazy, man. Because I don't even be paying attention to like first take in the mind. Like I'm kind of like RB in that sense, man. I ain't watched that stuff in like a few years now. But yo, is they really saying that on if Maximum really saying that, man?
They're saying it because they're saying that LeBron James has been the best player in the last 10 seasons, which I really don't believe. I've never believed that. LeBron has been the best, but he hasn't been the best for 10 years. That's a damn lie. And they said that he honestly has been robbed of like 4 MVPs. I mean, they tried to do the thing with Derrick Rose.
Yeah, I was just debating with somebody on that a couple of weeks ago, man, on Twitter, and then I was just like, "You didn't say that the Bulls was going to have the best record in the league, and Rose put up the numbers he did. Come on now, you was like, oh well, LeBron, he turned around and did it. Everybody expecting him to do that at the end of the day, And Rose proved that he was MVP when they played each other in the playoffs. He definitely held his own against prime LeBron and that Heat team. So we're not even going to do that. He was just mad that they gave MVP to Derrick Rose that year or whatever. But I'm glad he brought that up though. But I was like, no, Derrick Rose deserved that. Just like Westbrook deserved his MVP when everybody thought Harden should have got it. Because I personally felt like Kawhi should have won, but I'm not mad that they gave it to Westbrook that year though. Because we didn't see that happen since Oscar Robertson when he went for those 42 triple doubles or whatever. So at the end of the day though, they always try to do that or whatever. Because of LeBron, then there ain't no MVP that Curry won, Harden won, and Westbrook won the last couple of seasons that LeBron deserved at all. So I don't know what people really be getting this the information from or whatever. They don't be watching the games, and they just be listening on ESPN. And that itself only takes you so far though. So
The thing is, kid, these are very insecure LeBron fanboys that continue to be like, they really don't. All they do is watch highlights. They look at the stats that's in front of them. They don't do research. They never go deep into what makes the stat that it is. They don't have any objectivity, and they don't put things into proper perspective and context. They don't ever do that. Because if we start with the 2011 MVP, Derrick Rose's numbers were pretty good, number one. Now, he didn't have the field goal percentage that LeBron had, like in terms of shooting, but you got to understand something. Derrick Rose, number one, he improved his shooting. He made more 3-pointers that season. People also forget that Carlos Boozer missed 23 games that season. And
that was a very big piece. Very
and Joakim Noah, the best rebounder and defender, missed 36 games that year. LeBron played with Wade, played with Chris Bosh, and all those players pretty much played most of the season. Each of those players played 70-plus games that season. Also, Miami was expected to win 70 games. Like, people keep forgetting the expectations that LeBron put on himself. He said they were going to win 7 championships. Like, I still remember that from yesterday. It's the same dude that made
Not
it 1
one,
hour.
not two, not three, five,
Yeah,
6, 7.
6, 7.
I remember that too, man. That shit was funny.
Yeah, and I said it's the same dude that made a 1 hour special on ESPN, letting everybody know what team he was going to go to. Like, but because it's LeBron James, he had to make sure that he got attention for that. So, and I'm just saying to myself, and what I'm saying to myself is that Derrick Rose led the Bulls to the best record in the league. Nobody predicted the Bulls to even be that good. Nobody predicted them to be that good. Nobody saw them overtaking the Miami Heat, and it's crazy that they had.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was just about to say that. Not only did Rose have MVP numbers, they also in a head-to-head competition in the regular season. I believe they was beating up on Miami. So we're not about to, and then they had a better record in the East than the Miami Heat, though. So Rose definitely deserved MVP that year.
They swept the Heat 3-0 in the regular season. The reason that the Miami Heat ended up beating them is because Derrick Rose was their best scorer and he was their number one option. You take him away, who else can go get you a basket besides him? Nobody. They didn't. If Derrick Rose did not play with another dominant player,
they didn't really know. They just had Rose only had Boozer and Noah, and they was rebounders and defenders. And Boozer was mainly a rebounder.
Well, Boozer was, but it's just that not good enough to be able to play with the speed and athleticism of Miami with Wade and LeBron. And my thing is that they're able to double team Rose because they're both taller. So that helps. Not only do they have the size, do they have the wingspan, but like I said, they'll be able to crowd Rose and be able to stay in front of him. So when I hear that, LeBron shut down Derrick Rose, I said, well, it helps when you have Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade's one of the best defenders in the game. It's just he never got his due diligence winning defensive honors because Kobe Bryant was in the NBA. But Dwayne Wade is one of the most underrated defenders that in the league ever.
And he overtook, because the thing about Wade's defense is, what other shooting guard was blocking shots like Wade?
Thank you. So when I hear that he got robbed for MVPs, Derrick Rose, first of all, this is a point guard leading your team.
Point guards really don't even win MVP honors like that. If you really look at history,
like that. I mean, you could even also say that if you remember the dominant season that Wade had when he came back from injury off of the Olympics when they won gold, Wade averaged 30 points, he averaged 7 assists and 5 rebounds, shot 49%, and he had 200 steals and 100 blocks that season. And that team was a lottery team.
Been done since Jordan and that team did it.
Exactly, and also he had more steals and blocks combined, more than Dwight Howard and LeBron James. And that team won 15 games, and their best player being Michael Beasley, and they had Mario Chalmers and DeLon Wright, was able to lead that team to the 7th spot and win 43 games. They won 28 more games than the previous year with a healthy D Wade. So he carried them in the East. It's just that LeBron was going to get it because the Cavs won 66 games. And I hate the fact that people continue to say that LeBron had trash teams when it's like you have a 66-win Cleveland Cavalier team. They must be good at something.
Because being on Twitter, that showed me that about that Cavs team. There's a few NBA accounts and stuff that dig into that type of stuff, Louis. And then I saw the numbers from that Cavs team. I'm like, yo, they really like defensive rating numbers is that? We don't see stuff like that from like team like that's supposed to be that bad historically, though.
Exactly.
Like they wasn't really, because I watched that team, practically every game. I was like, I didn't see no trash teammates on the court. They all had like their own celebration or whatever, and they was really the only team doing that. So the chemistry on the Cavs at the time was it's insane. But I be hearing the same stuff too. I was like, that Cavs team was way better than what people gave them like credit for. When you really look at the numbers and stuff like that.
And not only that, but the crazy part was that analysts all kept saying that the Cavaliers were championship contenders, but yet LeBron's fans continue to be like he played on very trash Cleveland Cavalier teams. And I said, yo, they were one of the better defensive teams when LeBron was playing with them. He just didn't have the second star, but they were a very good defensive team. I said, this is the same team that held Tim Duncan to 44% in the NBA Finals, held Manu Ginobili to 36% in the NBA Finals, and 2 out of the 4 games in the finals were decided by 3 points or less. 2 of the 4, which tells you that Cleveland had an opportunity to win both of those games. They just didn't get it done. And LeBron struggled in that series. And the media try to give him a pass for that one because he gets so much credit for taking them to the finals. And it's like it once again goes back to you reward LeBron for participation trophies instead of celebrating him
We
for
don't do that.
he actually won. Exactly my point. We don't do that. We're supposed to reward winning. Like, I don't care how many times you've been to the finals. How many times have you won? 3. In 9 tries, you've won 3.
Because
And you've been in the
Louis,
league
remember
17
when he beat that Boston team with Tano as they star at the time? That's all I saw on ESPN for like 5 straight months. I kid you not. And they was over there saying, "Oh, we ain't seen a player go to this main final since Wilt Chamberlain." I'm just like, "Come on, like." I was like, "Look at what he like. Come on, man. We ain't about to do that at ESPN." They was still eating that up. They was still eating that. And then they actually thought because if you win a final, you have a chance, obviously, though. But they made it look like, that LeBron was going to do the impossible or whatever, in a game 7 clincher or whatever, lead a team like that with a bunch of players really never even sniffed the second round of the playoffs or whatever and just like beat up on a defending champs or whatever, but that wasn't the case. And then, when you actually look at that series, those games was close. 2 of the 4 games was close. It was only a blowout, that game 3 in the second half or whatever. That's when Golden State wrapped it up though. But those games was close. First game went in overtime, but that's why LeBron lost the championship to like 98% of the people because J.R. Smith didn't he didn't know that he had a timeout or whatever. That's because that one call affected how the series was going to play out. That's all I hear like nowadays. I was like, no, because LeBron didn't do nothing in overtime. If he would have stepped up instead of crying on the bench, they could have stole that game. They could have stole that game, and that would have had a different outcome in the series.
Well, that's what I keep saying. Even if you look at that 2017 playoff series, I know that the Warriors blew them out in game 1, but the Cavaliers were right there in game 2 in the first half. The problem with them was they never tried to slow the game down. They kept trying to play fast. And if you listen to LeBron in game 2 and even Tyronn Lue, they're like, we got to play faster. I'm like, no, you idiots. You're playing in the Golden State hands. They want to push the pace. Y'all should be slowing the game down and make them play half court. It's the quote unquote, as the media likes to say, it's the way y'all won the game. As Chris Broussard says, I like when they slow the tempo down because you guys are not a sprint team. So I don't know why y'all was playing that way. But game 3 in 2017, they had a chance to win that game. It's just LeBron and Kyrie failed to execute down the stretch. They screwed up. They let the Warriors back in the game. And then, as Skip Bayless likes to say, Kevin Durant hit the shot of shots, man, from the left side of the corner in game 3, right in LeBron's face in LeBron's house. So as soon as that happened, I'm like, well, the NBA is not going to allow them to get swept. I said, but I don't see them winning. As soon as they went 3-0, I said, I know Cleveland's going to get 1 because of the refs, and I said the Warriors will beat them in 5 at home because I don't see that coming back. I didn't see it, and they took care of them. And then in 2018, 2 of the 4 games were close. You couldn't get 1 game, and LeBron quit after game 1. And game 3 was still winnable. But all they want to talk about is his numbers at the end of the day. The game was still winnable, and all he cared about was making sure to get his numbers so that it wouldn't be his fault. So then they also want to talk about not just Derrick Rose with the 2011 MVP, but they even tried doing it with I think it was Steph Curry's MVP in 2016. I said, first of all, LeBron didn't really have a special season. And I said, how are you going to ignore 30 points a game, 50, 40, 90 splits by Steph Curry, and you led the Warriors to 73 wins in the regular season and been done since the 72 Bulls, most wins in NBA history for a regular season? But how does
But
LeBron get the MVP? Because, oh, he's played 17 years in the league and we owe it to him because he's been the best player. That's not, people have never said that about other players that have won MVP awards. But all of a sudden it's acceptable because it's LeBron. And that's what I find ridiculous. Or even the time that Steve Nash, I think when he won his MVP, I think that LeBron had a case for that too. And I said, you don't understand something. LeBron did not have those best seasons, so that's why he's not going to get the MVP. And I'm noticing that the media keeps trying to push LeBron to say that the league owes him an MVP award, and they're trying to give him that fifth one so he could tie Michael Jordan, especially because Michael Jordan was 35 when he won his, and LeBron James he would if he wins his he's 35 right now. He would get his fifth MVP just like Jordan at age 35. But then the media is going to say, oh, look, no one's ever done it in their 17th season, not even Jordan. So they're going to find a way to twist and spin it to try to put it in his favor as to why his MVP is more valuable and more meaningful than when Michael Jordan won. And I said, with Michael Jordan, this guy made first team all defense, first team all NBA, won all-star MVP, won the regular season MVP, won a championship and a finals MVP at age 35. Has LeBron even sniffed anywhere close to that? And that was just one season, I mean. Just one season. One season. And he won the scoring
You
title.
wouldn't have to do him like that, though, because I was just going to say, because when Jimmy got that All NBA first honors, he's 35. Like we don't see 35 putting that much pressure on effort on the defensive end. Putting up those defensive numbers. Like that's just insane. Though. So for him to even do that in his own show, like means a lot. Though LeBron wasn't playing defense his second year his second year in Miami. A lot of the times, he was over there taking plays off and stuff like that. And this is prime LeBron I'm talking about, though. So like I don't know why the media always feel like, because Jordan did something in the way he did it, LeBron, they want to make sure that LeBron turn around and have something like that so they can say, oh, well, he didn't do it like that, but he was able to do it like this. So that it's still like almost as good as when Jordan did something like that. That's how they try to do it.
Yeah, I know. And what kills me is the fact that I keep telling people all the time and they don't want to listen that Marc Gasol, when he won the 2013 Defensive Player of the Year, you know what? I'm gonna say this on the limb too. Marc Gasol honestly didn't even deserve to win that award. And the reason I'm saying that is because they gave it Marc Gasol made second team all NBA second team all defense that year. And the reason that I exposed that is because Tyson Chandler also won that award the previous year with the Knicks, and he wasn't even a first team all NBA defender. He made second team. Right. And all the guys that have won that award have been on the NBA's first team on defense. So that's why I said that I'm surprised that back-to-back years they made two second team all NBA defense, second all NBA team defenders win Defensive Player of the Year award. And they said what favored them was the advanced metrics as to why they won. So they use the analytics like to go against LeBron. But what I'm saying is that if I'm LeBron, if you felt like you deserve Defensive Player of the Year, what should you be doing? You should be showing the critics that you're the guy who deserved to win that award. Go show them how elite of a defender you be. But what happened? Because LeBron didn't get that award because he thought it was just going to be handed to him, guess what? He chose to stop playing defense before the age of 30. In other words, you stop playing in the prime of your career. And you get all these excuses about how he has to do so much. Part of that is one, your LeBron system, and two, you choose to take multiple roles from what guys are supposed to do. Everybody's supposed to be a startup shooter under you. Like, come on, dog. And it's like you stopped playing defense in the prime of your career. You weren't even 30. and you stop playing defense. That's why you haven't made a defensive team. And that's why all these it's like but his fans continue. I'm not gonna say objective LeBron fans understand. It's the fanboys that continuously choose not to understand when they know that he screwed up and he chose not to play defense. That's on him. That's on him. But they always got an excuse for it.
That's real. Because that same season, he did an interview with Rachel Nichols, and he was just like, "Yeah, I was really going after Defensive Player of the Year, you know." And I agree with you. You know, Marc Gasol didn't deserve it though. You know, LeBron sort of deserved it though. But instead of saying, "Okay, I didn't get it this year," and coming back next year and doing it, no, he, like you said, he just stopped doing that. You know, he just stopped playing defense. You know, and then I ain't never seen nothing like that from a superstar caliber legend. Like I ain't never seen that from a superstar player of someone of LeBron's caliber. That he have a whole system wherever he go and turn players who was averaging 20 and 10, taking their own teams to the playoffs and turn them to straight up spotter shooters. And then what's even more amazing to me about it, they actually accepted that. You're the alpha dog on your own team, and you team up with the best player. Just turn around and say, "Okay, you're gonna be a spot up shooter. I'm gonna have you shooting corner threes for the whole season." I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life, man. And then everybody crying, "Oh, well, he had a carry, you know." No, they chose to do that because they didn't want to play in the actual team system. You know, the Warriors wasn't successful because Curry was pulling up threes from the logo. No. Okay, y'all leaving me too much space. I'm a pop three. Oh, y'all double teaming? Okay, here you go, Clay. No, they actually played. No, like, and then they know if one of them was hot. Okay, Curry, you getting the ball. Clay, you getting the ball. Drain, you getting the ball. You know, they all knew how to play as an actual team and stuff like that. This is probably the only year we'll ever see LeBron not actually have a LeBron system. You know, and I feel like it wouldn't have been enough because I feel like the Clippers would have beat them up. But a lot of people would have had him going to the championship and he's winning it, though, you know. But that's because, you know, LeBron actually has it's not the team. It's like they're not actually like, okay, you're a spot up shooter. You know, you're going to be on the bench. No, it's none of that nonsense, though. You know, and there's people in the Lakers that can give you 20 points, 10 rebounds and stuff like that. So, you know, like, but I ain't never seen anything like that in my life, though. The LeBron system, you know, because I was just saying, you know, LeBron's just like turning people into spot up shooters, though. And then when I kept on seeing, no, it's the LeBron system, I was like, okay, it makes sense now. But, you know, like, there's no way that Cleveland team with Kevin Love and Kyrie, you know, because Kyrie was averaging, what, 30 that season? And then LeBron going toward the top of some, he needed another play like that. What more do they have to do or whatever for you to not say that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the thing with Kyrie though is that he can be a shot maker, but he focuses too much on scoring. So, but I'm saying that if you're LeBron, man, like you know, supposed to be the quote unquote leader, man, you gotta take the leadership by role. And he didn't do that, especially in his last season. So the bad thing about LeBron is that also this is going to kill the media even more because now they don't get to push their agenda saying that he's the greatest player of all time. I mean, obviously Nick and Shannon, they're still going to get to say that. But won't get to push it anymore. Is going to really hurt him because then it's going to be he'll just go with, oh, I didn't get a chance to prove myself in the postseason. And although he has a point, excuse me, as long as he has a point, even though he has a point, it's also going to be like, well, you didn't get the opportunity and they're not going to let you do it. So, you know, that's what stinks, you know, for the Lakers. And then it's going to be like a lot of the LeBron fans who worship LeBron are going to be so upset because they're going to say, then they're gonna blame Rudy Gobert, and it's like you ruined LeBron's shot at winning a championship. And I'm gonna say to myself, man, not only does Rudy Gobert deserve Defensive Player of the Year, but it should be the LeBron fanboys as well. They deserve Defensive Player of the Year. With how much they defend LeBron without knowing how badly they expose themselves. I said it again, man. I don't care that if you're a LeBron fan, but I get so sick and tired of when people don't want to acknowledge him for the mistakes he makes. They don't want him to take accountability. It's never his fault, but everybody else's. But then they wonder why people get on him, and then they're gonna say we're just nothing but haters. It's ridiculous. It just tells me you can't think on your own. You'll say yeah, but you can't. So he said he also likes Miami and Dallas. It's going to be dangerous. And then he also says next season LeBron is going to have no chance to win because the first round, James Harden, second round, Steph, third round, Kawhi, and then finals, KD or Giannis. That's a really good point because he may have to go through all those players. And the thing is, if you just saw the list that Raduni put, he put James, Steph, Kawhi, and KD or Giannis Antetokounmpo. Those are all stars. They're the top stars in the game, and he would have to play a star in every single round. This ain't going to be no Victor Oladipo, no DeMar DeRozan, and no Jason Tatum. Or you're not even playing the better players in the league in the playoffs. You're talking about the cream of the crop. James Harden, MVP. Steph Curry, two-time MVP. Kawhi Leonard, an MVP candidate when he's healthy. And he's a Defensive Player of the Year. And then you got Kevin Durant, 2014 MVP, or Giannis Antetokounmpo, 2019 MVP. Which means LeBron's going against top-level stars. And it'll be the first time that he's had to go through it every single round. And what's the excuse going to be? Oh, but he's 35. I mean, look what he did in his 17th year. See, they'll go back and push the goalposts and say, look what he did in his 17th year. They won't even talk about, like, what just happened. And it's like, you didn't get it done in the postseason, homie. So, that's the thing. No, it gets tired. Oh, man. Yo, man, so how's been everything, man? Everything been safe? Like, how's the situation out there when it comes to the with the virus, man? It's like, is it people things been shut down over there? Like, have people have had to quarantine like pretty much over there as well, or is it not that bad in Arizona?
Oh no, it wasn't that bad, because I end up just got back from there a couple weeks ago, but because I haven't been hearing from her down there, but everything's been going good though, and they ain't because she works down there, she works at Amazon or whatever, but she haven't been telling me because her kids go to daycare or whatever, they cancel that, and then she's still working or whatever, so. I haven't really been hearing anything, bad going on down there though.
Oh, okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
What about you though? Do they cancel a lot of places and stuff where you at?
Oh yeah. Me being here in New York and me working in education and stuff. The kids had to they had to stay home. A lot of the restaurants are like shut down here. There's some restaurants that are open, but all the other ones that I've gone into, they're pretty much closed. I mean,
Right.
but the street is usually very, very busy and is usually full of people. It's the first time that I've seen 34th Street where I have a ton of space to walk. It's like dead, almost dead empty. There's like less traffic. You don't really see a lot of cars out because everybody's quarantined at home. This virus has got a lot of people worried. I mean, look, man, I don't know if you know, but 2 Laker players got tested positive. On top of that, Marcus Smart is also got the COV, and we also have 3 players from the Sixers also got it too.
Everything you just said, I just now found out because of that's crazy though. All these NBA players just getting tested for it and found positive for it. But I feel like this though. I feel like this though. Something like this that happens every few years. But I feel like the government or somebody of that caliber, they're covering up something. And this is a perfect time to cover whatever they have up to keep everybody focused on this. You know, I don't know what they're covering up though, but it must not be too good though if everybody talking about this instead of saying, okay, we should take a step back and realize, you know, there's a bigger picture going on. You know, because I feel like China turned around and released it to everybody, you know, but like somebody's covering up something, you know, and that's why they released it or whatever, you know, to help whoever, even if they don't think they helped them, whatever, you know, cover whatever the something up though, you know, because like it's just crazy, you know, of all the people, you know, who has the virus and stuff like that, and then like you know, they'll from what I heard earlier, you know, they're going to turn around and shut everything down, and you're not going to be able to go to like a lot of places and stuff like that for about 2 weeks or whatever. You know, so you know when where I've been at, you know, back at home, they've been turning around going to the grocery store and stuff like that, getting water and toilet paper and stuff like that. You know, stacking up just in case or whatever. You know, and I was just with my friend. You know, and his mom was just telling me, man, that they didn't have a meat at like a store that where they sell out when they usually have a lot of meat at. And, you know, so I'm just like, okay, like people are going to these stores and stuff like that, buying everything they need and stuff like that because you know they're preparing for just in case, like if we actually have to stay home. And then my friend was also telling me earlier today that they have a travel ban now. If you're not going to work, going to the hospital or whatever, you know, you shouldn't be out driving or whatever. You know, so they've like really trying to crack down or whatever on this. You know, and it's just crazy though. Luckily, everybody I talk to, and me myself included, you know, they don't have it. You know, and I hope they don't get it though. You know, but I've been hearing like more and more people, you know, getting it and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. And Raduni says they're saying that about 40% of the population here in the U.S. Are positive. That's a very huge number. That's not
Huge number.
That's nothing small. There's nothing small about that. That's huge, which is why I keep going back to saying, like, listen, I know that a lot of people are upset that sports is canceled, but it's like, look what's happening with this crazy spread. You gotta think the human decency in you has got to think about human beings first. I mean, obviously, yeah, they're athletes, and like, you know, why do we have to care for them or why we have to relate to them? Reason being is because they're the reason that you guys watch basketball. They do have families like pretty much everybody, every other normal person. Now, obviously, we can't be like getting crazy concerned with them too much just because the fact that they make millions, but we got to just think of it from a human perspective.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah. Because even in general, man, you know, I have a lot of favorite NBA players and stuff like that, you know, but because I even follow a lot of stan accounts on Twitter or whatever, you know, but I never was one to get too much up in my favorite athlete's life or whatever, you know, like a lot of people do or whatever, you know, because at the end of the day, they're still human and they still have their friends and family or whatever, you know, and they don't even be invested in their own lives and stuff like that, you know. So I never understood why like dozens of people turn around and, you know, be, you know, all up in, you know, a celebrity's life or whatever, you know, when a lot of them don't even be too invested in their own lives.
Yeah, that's why I said that that's why I was saying, yo, not only Rudy Gobert, but I feel like with the way that people be defending LeBron and want to be up in his life too much, and then they, you know, start calling you bad names when you make one criticism of him as a basketball player. I said, yo, I would vote for you guys for Defensive Player of the Year too. So I'm like, if Rudy Gobert could share his award, if they could do a Defensive Player of the Year, I said, I give it to y'all fan. I said, yo, your fan base deserve it. I don't know how y'all gonna share that trophy because that trophy ain't big enough to share with everybody. I don't know how y'all gonna pass it, how y'all gonna bring it apart.
Fan base, man, they get the participation trophy and MVP trophy.
Participation, they get the MVP, they get the Lifetime Achievement Award. I mean, they pretty much get it all, man. Defensive Player of the Year.
I mean, you know, when you look at the greatest players, they all revolutionized the game. You know, but LeBron definitely did that, making the LeBron system. You ain't never going to, man, I'm telling you, man, you have a whole superstar player like LeBron having players taking 8 teams deep in the playoffs and putting up these crazy numbers, and you turning like alpha dogs on their own teams in their own right, just spot up shooters and stuff like that. And you,
Hmm.
man, I'm telling you, man, I ain't never seen nothing like that in any of the games in football or basketball or baseball. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. I promise you. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life.
Oh yeah, I've been saying that, man. It's just crazy to me that all this has happened. And I said I've never met a superstar player in NBA history. And you talk about all the greats that has gotten this much pampering like him. That it's like we have to celebrate every single loss. When it's like if it's any other all-time great, they would be getting ridiculed. They would be getting criticized. They would say it's no big deal. But it's always a big deal with LeBron. Even when you say it's no big deal, it's a big deal. Where it's like he could fail and they're like, oh, what's the big deal? I mean, he still averaged a triple double. No, it's a big deal because you call him the greatest. He didn't get the job done. He chose not to defend. But all y'all care about is the numbers he put up. So it is a big deal. So you can come here and say, oh, yeah, it's not a big deal. That's why it's still a big deal because y'all say it's not a big deal. It's like, yeah, I need to
Because I either said this in the live stream you did, or when I super chatted in the live stream RB did. I was like, basketball, in reality, that's why you seen Curry and them win 70 plus games, you know, because at the end of the day, they, you know, when you get on the court, you have a chance to win a lot of games or be very successful on the defensive side, or you know, like if you make enough plays or whatever. LeBron is supposed to be this almighty player and stuff like that, who's supposed to be have a defensive player of the year award and stuff like that. But you know, he stopped doing that. You know, like you said in the finals, that game 3 was close, and you know, and then you know, but LeBron turned around and then played defense, and then his teammates rallied right behind him. You know, they didn't see his leader. They didn't see they leader doing it. So why do they feel like they have to do that? You know,
exactly.
so
Raduni
you know,
said, he says, me too. He had the same questions that basically that you were saying, K Glory, about what the government is hiding, like when it comes to this COV. So he says he's been wondering about that too.
yeah. But do you feel like that though? You know that I mean that's just me though. You know who feel like I feel like that.
No, to be honest with you, man, I really feel that it is because it's like, yo, this thing has gotten people to freak out in so many ways. I mean, we've had people fighting in supermarkets for toilet paper. There's no more hand sanitizer. On a normal day, there would still be toilet paper and hand sanitizer, but that's not the case because people
And
have got
and I've been hearing the last couple months alone. Oh, hand sanitizer is not better than soap. It's not even better than hand soap. I'm like, now all of a sudden we run out. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
and
Oh man,
that's why I said that I feel that the government is truly hiding something that this might be, I don't know what they're covering up, but it's got to be a big deal that people have to quarantine themselves for 14 days. I mean, Adam Silver just came out with this. He said that players are allowed to, they can obviously like leave their facility, but it's like they can't travel. I'm like, yo, there's a virus going around. The reason that the virus is continuing to get some of these NBA players is because they're making contact with other players who possibly have it, and also the fact that they're traveling. So shouldn't they be inside? That's why Adam Silver makes no damn sense. You can't leave the country, but you can leave your house. So if it's not okay for us to go because we could possibly get it, why is it okay for them to leave? Next thing you know, they get it, then it becomes a problem because they can spread it to somebody else. And they
and we
forget.
see it all the time, Louis. A lot of these NBA superstars are messy. There's no doubt in my mind if James Harden wanted to that he's not at another club breaking a fan's phone or whatever because one of his goonies is in a fight or whatever. You know, like
Yeah.
so it's just crazy to me though.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying that Adam Silver, to me, he needs to be removed as owner, man, because it's getting really ridiculous at this point. I don't really like the way that his thought process. just with this with the COV, man, it's just if you know that it's spreading, why are you gonna have your players be able to go out traveling? Traveling
And
is
you name what 8 players to me or whatever, or like somewhere around that number of who now have it.
let me see.
Like that's just crazy to me though.
Let me see. I said there's 360 players, there's 4 Nets players, there's Kevin Durant, there's Marcus Smart, and then we have 2 Laker players who have it. So that's
11.
11 players right there. Oh, and then we got Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. So that makes
And
13.
he was the first one to get it. That's why they canceled the season.
Mm-hmm. So that's already 13 players. And I'm just concerned as to see who else has it. And to see if it's, hopefully it's not transferable either. But the thing that Adam Silver needs to change that. He needs to say everybody needs to quarantine themselves and they need to stay in. You're allowing them to travel. I don't want to hear any more. You're giving more reason.
Okay.
You're giving more reason for reports to come out so that possibly we have even more players have it. And then next thing you know, that's going to force the league to shut down. And then it makes me think that maybe this was part of their plan all along or something, just to try to cover up and say that, oh no, we're trying to do the best we can, but that is going to take more time to figure out. And like I said, I'm not trying to put emphasis on the season and all of that. I want these guys to hopefully get rid of this virus and that it's no longer transmittable or whatever. And then we can just move forward. That's all I care about. Like, basketball comes second, health comes first. So I care about that.
And I feel like they were trying to drag it out as long as possible, also because I feel like whoever they were just trying to keep this thing going as long as they possibly can, though, because there was no way that because I was in my Bible study yesterday, man, and my pastor was just telling me that they knew, instead of saying that they knew about this in November, like before it happened, it goes back to almost September, or almost, that they knew something like that was going to happen. So if they knew about it all this time, why haven't they been trying to make a cure or whatever, to like shut this thing down? So.
Well, that's what's pissing me off about it, because I feel like the media purposely did that so that they could pretend like, oh, we didn't, we weren't really aware, that this would become a pandemic if you heard about this already prior. And now you're telling me this news that they're starting to hear it since September. There was rumors saying that it was September, but if it's going that far, that's 6 months. You had 6 months. And now all of a sudden being shut down like that fast, that tells me that the media and the politicians and the government, they're hiding something. They're hiding something. And they're forcing people to be worried.
Yeah, definitely. Because I was like, November, like, we didn't hear about it in November, but if people really knew, and then it was just like they found studies and reports that it goes back to like early October and stuff like that. So it's just crazy though. Like, they try to hide that up, but the people who was digging and stuff like this, because they wanted to find something, it was like, oh, okay, now this makes sense. That's why they brought it to everybody's attention and stuff like that. And I was just like, yo, I didn't know it like goes back that far though, but that means they had all this time, but they chose not to do nothing about it. They don't want to do nothing about it right now.
Yeah, man. So all in all, to close out the show, I'm just basically going to say that all these NBA teams, the loser are really the fans. We don't get to see a very good playoffs. That's not happening. We don't get to see the young star play like Zion if he was to make it, John Morant if he was supposed to make it. The possibility that Kevin Durant can get healthy in time to pretty much play with Brooklyn in the playoffs. We don't get to see
and Curry just got back. We won't get to see him finish the season.
Yeah.
And then, we won't get to see who wins MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. you know, like a great season just goes down the drain because of something like this.
Exactly. That's why it's important. All right, so chill. Any last words you want to say before we close out?
Always a pleasure, man, and you know, just be safe, you and your family, man. You know, and I'm gonna definitely keep in touch, man.
No doubt, man. Shout out to you. Hope you guys are safe and you're safe too, man.
All right, okay, be safe, man.
All right, let's go back there, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, man. This is a solid stream. I know a lot of people didn't show up, man, but that just doesn't stop me from continuing to do these. We're gonna keep going as it is. I hope everybody is safe out there and we're closing out the stream. So from the Louis Sports Network, I want to thank Doug Banks and I want to thank Kate Ross for coming through, being able to share their input on their perspectives on what this season will mean if it was to shut down the NBA playoffs. And I'm just going to say this at the end. The ultimate losers are the players because they don't get to go in the postseason and have that postseason feeling of an atmosphere. The postseason is right. And then us basketball fans, we don't get the chance to see these guys play and create conversation and debate. But you know me, I always find ideas to create a conversation and debate, as I always do on the Louis Sports Network. And just when you think I won't have one, I always find a way to make another one. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was another solid stream. I appreciate everybody. And like I said, as always, in Tomoko, I will check out your video later on. As always, you already know the deal. Live, laugh, love. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful night. Be safe. And I will come back later on with a video to give you updates on the latest COV players in the NBA. So, deuces.